medicine man. Once he accepts that, he's committed to helping you. It's kind of like it's sort of like payment, but without money being involved. You just offer them tobacco, and then they have to sometimes go into. Has anyone heard of a sweat lodge? Yes. Have you been in one? Well, a sweat lodge, and it's like. Oh.
Oh, you can erase that or go
That's
right
okay.
over
I'll
the
just.
top of it.
A sweat lodge is a little kind of. Okay, so you got this little structure that you actually make by bending willows, young willows, and you stick them in the ground so that they stay firm, and then you cover the little structure that's only about this high with canvas. Nowadays they use a lot, and you make sure that it's really dark in there and that there's no little like gaps and holes, and in front of the little structure, the sweat lodge, there's a fire pit where you've been burning wood that is also heating up rocks, and then the rocks are brought into the lodge and you pour water over them. Once you close this, there's like a flap that comes down so that this is actually closed, and you're in there in the dark with the steam coming off of the stones, but it's also a place where the medicine man can connect with guidance, with the spirits, and they tell him how to help you, how to heal you, what to give you, what medicines to give you. And it also just feels really good. If any of you have been in a sauna or, yeah? Been in a sauna? Well, it's kind of like a native sauna outdoors on the ground. You know, I think different cultures do have different ways to purify, and in the north of Europe, they developed saunas. So, so you could achieve that the same way the Native Americans have the sweat lodge. So,
Very cool.
usually, to be able to pour the water, you have to have put in some time in some way or other. Like you're either the medicine man or maybe you're a sun dancer. That's a whole other topic. Sun dancing. Has anyone heard of sun dancing?
So you have to be a pretty special person to be able to do that.
Technically, yeah. I mean, if you wanted to and you thought, this is a good day for a sweat lodge, I'm going to go build myself a sweat lodge and make heat up the rocks and bring them in and sweat. I mean, you can do that. It's not like you're not allowed to do that. But if you're in a gathering of people and people call a sweat lodge, usually it's some kind of spiritual leader or medicine man who pours the water. So anyway,
Thank you for explaining
that
that.
was a little sidetrack
That's
there.
okay. We're probably going to have lots of those.
You erase that eraser?
Yes, I
Oh,
can. Does it bother you?
she just likes to use the eraser.
Oh, it is very nice. It beats the days when we had chalk all
I
over
know,
them.
right?
And you were like, bah, 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 and all the chalk would fall everywhere. All right. So, yeah, I read all the books that came to the
Oh,
center.
you did, and this is the one
I
that
read
you
every
chose.
single one because they all had something really delightful or interesting or touching.
Well, if you would like to come back and read another book that you really liked, we would love to have you again.
I would love to. I love reading children books. There's lots of pictures. In fact, one of the kids there, when I was showing him the books, the very first time he saw them, he said, "That's a good one. This has got good pictures." And I thought, well, let me be the judge. I'm going to read all of them and check it out. But it turned out this is the one I ended up choosing. pictures are actually very simple, but here we'll start. This one's called Dancing with Cranes. Does anyone know what a crane is?
It's bird that it's gonna be white, and they like to go in water, and it can kind of walk on water, kind of.
It looks like that, right? Right, because their legs are so long and they kind of, yeah. Let's see if there's any picture.
This is a project that we are going to do afterwards.
Oh,
See, this is what a crane looks like when it is flying. So they have very long necks, and then they have long legs, and they have huge wings, right?
yeah.
They have very, very big wings. They're amazing, amazing birds.
I've seen one.
So we will be working on an art project with our cranes.
I heard there's the migration of the sandhill cranes that comes through, I want to say Nebraska.
Yes,
or,
Nakusa has the International
Right.
Crane Foundation, and they have a huge piece of land where all of these cranes will come, and lots of other birds and animals too. But that is a stop for the cranes on their migration route, and it is amazing to see them. Amazing.
yeah. I live in Viroqua now, which is about an hour from here, but for 15 years I lived on a farm near Cashton in the Amish area, and we have a lot of beaver. And for a long time the neighbors took care of the beaver to make sure there were no beaver there, but the beaver kept coming back. And to cut to the chase, what the beaver have created is this amazing nursery for life. And the crane come there. And they weren't there before. Now that I have this huge beaver pond and a beaver lodge, and you can see sometimes in spring the beaver, and you can hear them when you go at night because, I'd love to come and talk to you about beaver. They are an amazing animal. You know that?
No, beaver lodge when we were fishing. It scared the beaver in it. Scared away all the fish when we were fishing. So, and the other time the beaver wasn't there, so we then put down the line, and right away he caught a northern really fast, so he couldn't have time to set the hook.
Wow, that must have been fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the beaver. Well, if I go off on a beaver thing, I'll be talking all morning. You guys will be leaving for lunch, and I'll still be talking about the beaver.
We would love it if Taryn would come back and talk about beavers. Wouldn't that be cool?
Oh, yeah, I have all sorts of literature, and I mean, because I had to advocate for the beaver. I had to talk on their behalf because the township basically wanted to blow up their home and blow up the dam and get rid of them. And so it's a long story, and it's still ongoing. It's been going on for years, but
We
I
would
will
love
come
it
back
if
and
you
talk
came
about
back and
beaver.
talk about that.
Yeah.
That would be great. Okay, asking me a question in sign language.
Oh. Okay, so actually, here's the very first picture of Dancing with Cranes. You can see the cranes there. Right. Yeah, there are. How many types are there, in fact?
Well, there are many kinds of the birds that are cranes. I think different species. But Noah, are you talking about the construction equipment?
No.
You know, that's funny because when I was looking for a picture of a crane, which I could not find, I found lots of pictures of construction cranes.
And I wonder why they're called that, right?
Why are they called that? What's the similarity? What is the
They're
same?
still the same.
What is this? What do you see that could be the same with this that is the same with a metal crane for construction? Tall and a long neck. You got it.
All right. So dancing with, I do this all the time. I wear my glasses on my head, and then I go to read, and I can't read properly. I'm like, I can't. Oh, my glasses. Time to get up, sleepyhead. Come on, Chi. The sun's about to rise before you. Look at the lake. Chi's mama said as she opened the curtains to let the morning light come in. Look, the spring weather brought some swans back. Chi took a long time getting out of bed. Her mama said, come on, Chi, you're going to be a big sister soon, and you will have to move faster than that when your brother or sister arrives. Chi looked at her and said, today? Her mama laughed and said, no, but soon, see? Feel my tummy. And put Chi's hand on her round tummy. But Chi jerked her hand away. Mama, I don't want a sister or brother. I just want to be with you. Send it away. Chi, it's a blessing for us to have a new person be part of our family, her mama said. Now go wash up. I'm cooking something good for us to eat. You and your little brother or sister inside me need to eat to grow. She dressed slowly without looking at her mama. Instead of washing up in the sink, she went to the door saying, I'm going to the lake to wash up for breakfast. Her mama sighed and said, oh, okay, I'll call you when it's ready. At the lake, Chi stood quietly as birds wheeled and settled on the shining lake surface. It was the very first time Chi had stood by the lake after the ice melted from the long, cold winter. She felt like talking, so she said out loud, Hi, bird friends. It's good to see you again. She looked up at fat, gray geese, their long, black necks stretched out as they honked, honked, and wheeled in a smooth turn about her. With wings stretched out and forward, they landed with a great swoosh, then tucked their wings under and floated silently forward. They did not seem to notice Chi. Come close to me. She tried to make her voice sound like them. Honk, honk, she shouted, and they turned their long necks to look back at her. She thought of last year, how she and her Tema had come here to watch the birds and how the geese had come close as they sat very still. They were so funny then. They had stretched their long necks, almost touching her, until her Tema got scared they would hurt her. Tema had waved her arm, and they had jumped back, bending their necks straight out and opening their yellow rounded beaks, hissing at them. Now they just floated away faster with their necks bent back toward her. Green-headed ducks quacked noisily as they waddled ashore and disappeared into the long grass. Overhead, two black and white ducks flapped short, pointed wings quickly before hitting the water with a splash and scattering smaller black mud ducks paddling back and forth in the reeds, sticking up out of the lake near the edge. None of them paid any attention to her. She felt sad.
There are lots of different birds already in this story, isn't there? Yeah. Have we met a crane yet? No. Geese and a few different kinds of ducks.
And now we're being.
I know what that is. Does anyone know what that
I
is?
forgot what brain.
It's a loon. That is a loon. All right.
She watched as the two big white swans drifted toward a long, glittering reflection of the rising sun. Gulls wheeled and landed on the lake, screeching at each other before flying up again. Out towards the middle, a speckled loon called out before diving, leaving a long, dark line under the surface of the lake. The sound of the loon made Chi feel like crying. It made her